Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to US Election Hub, and today we're going to do a mock 2018 Senate election race. And there's been a lot of information, a lot of news coming out saying from a lot of websites like the Washington Post, CNN, all predicting that there's going to be a blue wave in 2018 and that this is going to be a very good chance for the Democrats to take back the Senate and also the House. So we're not going to be doing a House race right now, but the Senate is a very contested one because remember, no Democrat will say outright that we can win it because it's still very difficult. It's not an easy task to win the Senate, especially in a GOP favored Senate race, and more Democrats are up for re-election than there are Republicans. So getting right into it, the dream scenario for the Democrats is that they retain every seat that is up for re-election. Hold on, not these ones. They retain every seat that is up for re-election. So that is basically all these seats right here. And they also get Florida. So now, where does that put them? That puts them, and they also get the Senator Al Franken seat for Minnesota. And so that puts them at 49-49. And so that would be a tiebreaker right there. But let's see, the two states left over. We got Arizona and we got Nevada. So Nevada, Dean Heller is very unpopular right now, but he is an incumbent. So the chances are he could be reelected, but it's going to be a very tight race. So so let's just say this is like once again the dream scenario. So the Democrats get Nevada, and the Democrats in Arizona. It hasn't been decided who's going to be running it for the Republicans or the Democrats, but chances are, depending on certain candidates. So if I go over here for Arizona, it all depends on the primary. If Kelly Ward wins the GOP nomination, then the Democrats win. If DeWalt or Graham were to jump in, then the race becomes 50-50. But remember, this is a dream scenario, so let's just say Kelly Ward jumped in and Arizona went blue. Now look at that. The Democrats now have a 51-49 majority, and this includes the VP already. Now that's very interesting, right? This even gives New Jersey to the Democrats, who's actually running a candidate who was on trial, and he has one of the worst approval ratings amongst Democrat senators. So even he wins his seat in the dream scenario. But remember, we don't live in a perfect world, and that's not going to happen. Realistically, people are like the Democrats to take back the Senate. I don't believe that's going to happen, and let me explain why. Montana, his seat is safe. North Dakota, Heidi Heitkamp, she voted for Gorsuch, and she's been a very much moderate, and so I think she'll be fine. She also has very high approval rating, so she'll be good to win back her seat. Joe Manchin, I think he's a little bit on the fringe right now, so I don't know about him. Joe Donnelly has a potential, but we're going to leave that blank for now. I do think Sherrod Brown could probably retain his seat, even though Ohio went for Donald Trump. Sherrod Brown we don't know who's going to be versing Sherrod Brown, and he is an incumbent, so he does have that advantage. And let's go ahead to Missouri. Missouri is one that the Democrats can absolutely not keep. Claire McCaskill is going to be voted off. Why? Because first of all, she is way too progressive for a state like this. Missouri is an extremely Republican state, extremely conservative, I believe. And the thing is, if she was a moderate, it was fine. Like in 2012, she was able to win her seat. But if we're thinking about this now, she narrowly won by a miracle. And second of all, she's become even more progressive, and she didn't even side for the Gorsuch nomination. So this is really gonna put a stint in her Senate race or re-election campaign, and this is going to go to Republicans. Now you look at that, the Republicans just flipped the Democratic senator. Right now, Florida is leaning Democrat. Why? Because unless the current governor, Rick Scott, runs, it's going to be a very close race, but the Democrats are expected to get Florida. Now we're currently at 44-50, Arizona, and Nevada. So I'm just going to go ahead and give Nevada to the Democrats just because if there is a blue wave, the Democrats could manifest out here. Why? Because of Latino turnout, but also because Dean Heller is just very unpopular right now. And so he's unpopular among both Republicans and Democrats. So if he is voted out, then the Democrats win here. Arizona is interesting. I'm going to give it a bank here and say that the Republicans do maintain Arizona here. Now, we have 3 states left, guys. West Virginia, Indiana, and Wisconsin. If you look at Indiana, Joe Donnelly and Joe Manchin in West Virginia. They're both Democrats, but they're both very moderate or conservative Democrats. And in reality, these Democrats were the ones who were pro-Trump. Not meaning like they supported Trump, but they were pro-Trump Democrats, meaning they've been more open to supporting Donald Trump's policies. They voted for Neil Gorsuch and a few other of Donald Trump's cabinet appointees. And so they were more bipartisan in their approaches. And so I think the Democrats could probably retain their seats because these Democrats have been very good for their own state. Indiana, Joe Donnelly, though, could lose. And if he were to lose, that'd be interesting. But I don't really know for this one. So I'm just going to go ahead and give it to the Democrats for now. Wisconsin, Tammy Baldwin actually has lower approval ratings for someone in the Democratic Party and in the state of Wisconsin, which has been heavily red for some time now. In fact, the Rust Belt has been leaning red for quite some time. And so I think that Wisconsin could probably go red here. It's actually a real possibility, and I think they'll probably go red. Now the last one remains to the second seat in Minnesota, and that is Senator Al Franken's seat, who just resigned recently. And so the Republicans can only make it very, competitive if they run a person like Pawlenty right here. If he ran in Michigan for Franken's seat, this guy meant to say Minnesota, not Michigan. But anyways, if he were to run, I think it'd be very competitive, and the Republicans could pull out a win. But we're gonna go ahead and give it to the Democrats. And now look at that, 52-48 majority. Nothing changes. In fact, even though they just lost one in Alabama, really nothing really changes much. One thing I do want to point out is New Jersey is running. The guy who's running in New Jersey, he was on trial for, he was accused of some stuff that was like illegal. I forgot what it was. But what's interesting is he has some of the lowest approval ratings amongst Democratic senators, and the fact that he's running for re-election is really odd to me. Honestly, because this could be one of those seats that flips to the Republicans. Why? You have a massively unpopular Democratic senator in a Democratic state running. And so if the other candidate for the Republican Party is a strong, charismatic candidate and maybe a moderate, chances are they will elect a Republican for Bob Menendez's seat. And that is 53-47 on the Republican side. Now, quickly, I'm just going to show you guys what happens for a Republican majority. This is if Republicans are successful in all their attempts and they actually end up winning despite the odds. Now, this is going to be very interesting. They end up winning Missouri. They end up losing Florida. They end up taking Joe Donnelly's seat in Indiana. Ohio still goes blue. West Virginia, Joe Manchin loses his seat as well. Heidi Heitkamp stays in her seat, and John Tester stays in his seat. Wisconsin goes red, Michigan goes red, and New Jersey goes red. And if you look at that, that is... Oh, wait, where are we missing? We're missing something somewhere. Oh, yeah, Minnesota, and the Minnesota goes red. This is probably the Republicans' dream scenario right here, guys, 58-42. The Democrats would be brutally destroyed. And, in fact, this would actually be very good for Republicans. Why? Because just even though they're not at 60, technically Heidi Heitkamp or someone like John Tester could side with the Republicans on a multitude of issues, and that would lead to them being pro-Trump Democrats, or like kind of like there was Reagan Democrats. These would be Trump Democrats, and so that would really give them the 60 majority if they could appeal to these two senators at that point. And so this would be the perfect scenario for the Republicans. And then these other blue states, we're not really looking into it because obviously Elizabeth Warren is running here in Massachusetts. Sheldon, Chris Murphy, probably going to win. Delaware, Maryland, Ben Cardin. Yeah, these ones are pretty safe for the most part. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and see you guys next time. Bye!